What you see here now is one of our 5th grade teachers, Mrs. Janet Vogel, and she is conducting a science lesson with the youngsters on creating your own animal. The purpose of the lesson is to have the youngsters adapt an animal so that the animal will survive. And there are different concerns that they have to be aware of, those being habitat protection and food sources.
Are there any other protection considerations, any other ways that we can work to help it to protect itself?
It could have long claws, like cats.
And what would that do for it?
Well, it could scratch other things, and it could also grab things easily.
Okay, good. Mike?
If it has like sort of sharp teeth on the back of his back.
Okay, and what way would that help him with protection?
Well, if any animal went to jump on him or bite his neck or his back, they would automatically die because of the club.
Okay, good. So we're getting some really good forms of protection.
Well, if it had long or short legs.
Okay, in what way would that make a difference?
Well, how it can run, so it can either catch its prey, or if it is, get away.
Okay, if it's catching its prey, then what word would we determine? What's a good word? We could say, so if it's a predator, if it's prey, are we saying then that we have to decide if it's a predator, if it's a prey?
Yeah.
How we're going to build it. Okay, but the most important concern, or primary concern, is what? What's the one thing above all else that we want for this particular animal? Survival. Okay, some of you have designs. Everybody has, right near them somewhere, a bag. Did you reach down and get your bag? In the bag, you have junk. You ready for this?
Yeah, we got to
Build your animal.
Now the real process begins. Here the youngsters begin to empty out the bag and survey all the different objects that are in the bag and use their creativity and their group processing skills to come up with and design an animal and how they will adapt that animal to survive in the environment which they determine. You'll see a lot of dialogue between the youngsters during this time, each of them wanting to put in some input into what their animal is going to look like. You'll see that some youngsters will immediately assume a more leadership role while others are really right in there with the hands-on creativity ideas. They also enjoy what they're doing, as you can see from the expressions on their faces. See Mrs. Vogel, even though they are on their own to design their animals, Mrs. Vogel will come over and act as a moderator to make sure the group keeps moving along and maybe steer them in the right direction to complete the assignment of creating their animal. The ideas that the youngsters come up with using the various items is really pretty interesting to see.
But let's see some of the things that we have come up with so far and see how we're doing with adapting our animal. Remember, our question is, how does our animal adapt? Okay, Keith, could you, let's see, maybe we could just take this group first. Show us what you've done so far and how you've addressed the concerns that we had about survival.
We made wings so the animal could fly, which are not quite dry yet. And its habitat is in a rocky area. And it'll have to fly or walk because a rocky area is very hard and its feet get tired if it walks too much. So it could walk at all. We gave it claws on its feet so it wouldn't hurt too much. And we made it be able to fly, so if its feet get tired, it could just swoop over.
Okay, thank you. Very nice job. Who else?